URT. Yo, we're in London, people. We're in London for work. Big up to everybody. Love and like. Smash a like on your way in. Big up. Yeah, man. The defense cost us tonight. Big up to everybody. Martinez, Rashford. Martinez was the hero on the weekend. And now he's the bad guy, hey? He's the bad guy. You see, from hero to zero. That's the name of the game, people. You are the URT. We are the URT. People, we're in London. We're in central London. We're here for work. But, boy, oh boy, second half, I enjoyed the performance of the second half. Big up Jamie Wayne. Ineos can do one. The club needs a whole new team. Had enough for the performances. Listen, I'm not I'm not that asked about that. I'm not that asked, to be fair, about it. But I'm glad the second half performance. I thought second half Manchester United showed what we can do. But yeah, the mistakes in it, individual defensive mistakes. I don't think one of their goals should have stood Van Deer. But you think about that lineup in it, like that lineup. When was the last time anybody put that kind of lineup out in the first half? Obviously, we made the changes in the second half. We got back in the game, but it is what it is, people. Martinez, a lot more who play tonight leave my club. Wow, Jamie's going in. Jamie's had enough. But big up, people. Big up, Jamie's going in. Listen, to me, the question I want to ask you guys is that did you enjoy the second half performance? That's what I want to ask you. That's the question I want to ask you. Did you enjoy the second half performance? Um, yeah, Yoro was good, I thought. Big up Sheikh Arian. I hope you and the family are well. Sending you love and condolences. I've, I've, I've made my duas for your that 100% for your granddad. I've made my duas for him, and I will continue to make duas for him. But yeah, big up to the people. Listen, big up. I want to hear what Mumbai got to say. Listen, the question I want to ask you is that uh, in the second half performance, what did you think? Do you think we're making progress in terms of the second half performance? Because for me, that's all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the result. I thought the referee decision, some of the things went against us. I don't think Spurs are that great. Genuinely don't. But I thought for large parts, Manchester United deserved to. If you look at the chances we made, what we created in the second half, how we played, I thought we were the better team. Expected to
Um,
win the Carabao since before we got knocked out. But big up to Brom. Go ahead. Goodbye.
yeah. Good evening, Dino, Sean, Therapy Army, uh, Sheikh, Ariane. Condolences. Rest in peace. I thought, yeah, of course we're making progress. I have to look at that game in the context of how it developed. First off, good control, good control of the game. Um, both keepers, we had like Ertugrul and Andre the Giant in net tonight. Two shocking performances from both keepers. Um, but first off, yeah, I was happy. I liked it. Really good control. Good passages of play. Moved the ball at times reasonably quickly. Stretched them. Bit static though. Hoyland tonight needs a bit of help, man. To help himself is what I mean by that. Bruno played well, got some good balls in, but he's got to be better. He's got to be there. He wasn't there tonight. Not too happy with him, his performance. But as a team, yeah, we played well, and you know what? This team's got some fight about it. Good spirit, man. Came back into the game, didn't give up, played to the 96th minute. If it wasn't for another howler from the keeper, who knows what would have happened. So, second half, obviously, it's a cup tie, man, proper cup tie that. So, in the context of the game like that, tactics went out the window and it became just end to end game. They were trying to hang on. We were pushing and peppering and pushing, but it became a tall order once that fourth one went in. But, on the whole, just a very enjoyable old school cup tie. What more do you want? We had 7 goals. Um, but yeah, so second half, I can't really say are we making progress because I understand what's going on now. That's all gone out the window. It's a cup tie. Let's go for it. Let's
I
do it.
couldn't
Either
agree.
we get caught or we get back into it. So no issues there. It was fine. But on the whole, I walk away pretty happy from that game. I thought there was some good performances, individual ones. Bruno for me, Ericsson was very good. Ahmad is always really good. Hoyland not so much. Garnacho, you know, didn't do it much. You did what Garnacho did when he came on. Lindelof, I liked actually today. Did well while he was on the pitch. So Bayern they want to forget. Uh, Martinez was all right. Wasn't bad. Okay, it happens. That was a shit clearance for the goal, but it was a proper cup tie, and I'm pretty happy to be honest.
Well,
No,
I'm glad. I'm glad I waited because I was about to say I couldn't agree with you more. Then he just went and said a couple of things I disagree with.
well, man, that's not
Um,
unusual, Sean.
um, yeah, like I was agreeing with you until you talked about Ericsson and Lindelof. Ericsson just made me wish he was younger, right? Because there were like you said, 30 minutes or so in the first half of just really good control, really nice like passage of play, passing around with Ericsson and Bruno and the rest of the team. Um, but like eventually I think he just couldn't cope with the way the game was going and he had to be taken off. Lindelof as well, kind of looked always like a step behind, both his teammates and the Spurs players as well. And I think, it was kind of clear that like his legs were not there necessarily. And I think that showed in the injury that he got, 10 or 15 minutes basically into the game. Where I'm with you 100% is in not feeling too stressed about the outcome of this game. I thought as we looked against City, as we looked against Forest and against Arsenal, we looked fairly decent, like in control. In possession, out of possession. We looked, like we had a plan basically of what to do when we got to, when we had the ball. Obviously, there are some, gaps, lapses in quality, and I think that showed today. So Bayender, for example, just had a stinker. I think Mazraoui could have done with a break because he looks a little tired. And I think some of that fatigue is showing up in his play. Dalot remains, I think, a challenge, whereas like most of the team is able to get to 7, over 10 in terms of their average performance. Dalot is still just giving us fives, bare minimum, lots of energy, but very poor output performances that don't really help anyone. Um, and like Hoyland, like you said, same old story. Ahmad as well, continues like his bright form. But yeah, this game today, I think, I'm choosing to look at it as entirely from a positive perspective because I think 4-3 is an accurate reflection of the way the game actually played out. Even when we were 3-0 down, I still wasn't too forced because I knew the way I'm looking at this team, we have a goal in us. Like on like a couple of weeks ago, where it doesn't seem like we could score with Ahmad on the pitch, with the way we play, like a goal is going to come from somewhere. I think that confidence will come. As it was brave of Amorim to rotate today, but I think it was necessary. It was an important, necessary decision that he had to make to play, to give Delete a rest, to give Maguire a rest. I thought Masra was going to be rested today as well. But it was important to give like Onana a break, to give Anthony a chance to play. So all those things I think should have been expected. And the way the game played out today, I think is only fair. Tottenham, now they have to go all the way. There's an element of them maybe also wanting it more than we did today. I think Ange is really conscious of keeping his promise to Spurs fans of winning a trophy in his second year. Um, so some of that desire, I think, showed today. But yeah, like overall for me, the game was neither here nor there. I'm glad at least Amorim has one extra day maybe to coach and to train his players that he didn't have before today, so we can focus on the Premier League. The rotation, like I said, was to be expected. And 4-3, I think, is an accurate reflection of what the game actually was. So yeah, no fuss at all for me today. It was a good outing. I wish we had won. The banter that we have to take, the inconsistency, obviously, with regards to the team. I think some people will choose to look at it that way. But I think if you actually pay attention to the way we're playing, we're just on a different level basically to where we were like a couple of weeks ago in terms of in possession, out of possession, like the style of play. We're in a completely different place, and that's a place that fills me with confidence going into any game pretty much, or facing up against any opponent that we will. I think over time with signings and with improvement in quality, we'll get to where we would like to be.
How do you guys think Anthony did today?
Zero, 0/10. Um, he needs to
Positionally
stick
was
to
all
that.
right, but boy, oh boy.
He needs to
What
stick to right wing back. What he needs to do, or what Amorim is asking that number 10 to do. Anthony can't do it. Um, so if you see him at all, he needs to be in that right wing back position. I think he looks good playing behind Ahmad on that right wing, but I don't think he should be the one leading the line. Big up Ronnie. Yeah.
Hey, big up, guys.
man at work?
Yeah, man. Stuck at the
Uh,
airport today.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yo,
Yeah,
big up,
big
Lavani.
up, big up,
I'm
guys.
actually in London. I'm in London for work, so big
Oh,
up to everybody. Jamie
nice.
Wayne, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know, maybe you've not been listening, bro, but we've got a manager, we've got a new coach who's tried to install a style of play, and you already know we got bottle jobs at our football club. So for me, the performance matters to me more than the results. Shitty Carabao Cup. Spurs are shit, man. They're getting knocked out in a two-legged against Liverpool or Arsenal, whoever the next day play, man. They're not getting anywhere, my friend. So I'm not that asked. I'm not that bothered about shitty League Cup, bro. What I'm bothered about is Sunday, sorry, at Old Trafford. That's what I'm bothered about. Sunday,
On
Old
this one,
Trafford.
we agree, Nordin.
That's
We
what I'm
agree
bothered about. I'm not
100%.
bothered about shitty Carabao Cup, bro. So miss me out with the Carabao Cup talk.
It's going to take
Genuinely.
time, people. Midway through the season, completely new style. Not all his team. You have to take the rough with the smooth. Last week we played really well against Man City, probably our best performance of the season, and the way that we won it is a day to absolutely buzz. But you're going to get these days at the office. He's still, working on it. So you have to look at how we're playing. What's improving under Ten Hag? Everyone's just like gave up because we just weren't moving. Nothing was changing. This is
Mm.
6, 7 games. Do you know what I mean? And already you can see a massive improvement in many areas. If you can't, you need to watch better because possession is better, team shape is better, team pressing is not just mental. It's a team game. 17 interceptions against Man City. Players are improving. So there's lots happening in a very short space of time, but you have to accept days like today are going to happen, and you just need to take it on the chin. It's a process. It's very early days, and there's loads of stuff that we have to improve and get better on yet. So, just roll with it for now.
Now,
Yep.
definitely. Big up, people. Listen,
Yep.
smash the like, people. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed in it. We're a small community, but we're growing. We're on the road to 15K. If you're there, you're there with us. You're there. Remember, people. Some of the people with us from the 100, from the first 100 we had. Anyway, I personally believe I take a lot of encouragement from the second half performance. Me
Mm.
personally, the first half I wasn't at the end of the day. But yeah, Alessandro Martinez today, he went from a hero on the weekend to a zero in less than 3 days. Jamie Carragher got up, you know what, he never rated him anyway. Here he is piling on him.
Mm.
Um, I thought the energy, I thought the way we played, you know what I mean? Somebody asked about Ericsson, why didn't he play? So Ericsson's done out here, man. Ericsson's
Mm.
done out here. Yeah, I just feel as though for me, something is brewing is specifically the style of play that which we're playing. So yeah, the most important thing. Yeah, I'm in London, bro. I'm in
Okay.
central London. Somebody asking here, big up abs. Not in Manchester. I'm in London, central London. I went to a Lebanese restaurant tonight with
You know, it's
people from here, which is really nice.
it's
Go
very
ahead,
hard
Luwani.
to. It's very hard.
Luwani, I'm gonna
Yes.
ask you a question. Do you take
Yep.
any courage from the second half performance?
I did, and for the right reason actually. It's it's true that it's hard to look at the game, to look beyond the calamity that both goalkeepers were serving us. I don't understand this modern day goalkeeping syndrome. They're trying to teach them how to play out from the back without them learning how to command their box first. Between both goalkeepers, we have they literally responsible for three goals out of 7 goals scored today, which is an absolute horror. They should really go back to the drawing board with this modern goalkeeping team. When it come to the game, I thought Tottenham set up exactly the same way City set up. They have like this V shape, arrow V shape, to try to force us not to play through the middle and rely more on our wingers. And the only difference between Tottenham today and City last time is because City kept their line pretty high, and Tottenham did not commit their line. It's also in terms of personnel. Tottenham they have Bisuma and Sa that were a little kind of superior to our midfielder of Ugarte and how you call it, Ericsson. Because if you compare them profile to profile, you see we didn't have enough length in the midfield, so they dominated the midfield over. They dominated the midfield. We couldn't play through the middle, and we have to go through our wingers. But then when we were going through our wingers, you see the difference in personnel also affect us because instead of Ahmad, we had Mazarawi on the right hand side, and Mazarawi most of the time was inverting. He was not playing the same way the other wingers were playing during the City game, because the wingers during the City game were staying very high, but this time Mazarawi was inverting, and um, our 10 on the right side, which is the little Brazilian guy, Anthony. He was the one hugging the touchline, and he did not give us anything in the 10 position today. So the game started getting better when Kobe Mino was introduced in the second half, and you can see we kind of enjoy a little bit ball retention in the middle when Kobe Mino got introduced. I think attribute based on his attribute, and that's the one thing I will be looking forward for. I'm not saying he's a definitely 6, he's definitely a 10, but in terms of the profile of player that we should be looking at, this should give us a glimpse of what the player that we should go for in January. This system is very reliant, and we saw it today in the second half when Xerxes and Kobe Mino were introduced, and we were able to keep the ball a little more and play through the middle as to our regular playing through the wings, which make us kind of predictable, because eventually Tottenham were able to lock the wing up, and they didn't push their line high, and our wingers couldn't do anything. Our wing back couldn't do anything today. So,
But I don't think
but
it's one or the other, Nalwani. I think we had this debate
mm,
before, right? I think part of Amorim's style of play, like an integral part of this, is to have on the left side, the left wing back, so Dalo,
mhm,
push up really high, stay really wide, and to have the number 10, whoever that number 10 is, whether it's Ahmad. So
mhm,
even if Ahmad is playing, more often than not, you
mhm.
would see him in many situations attacking their left back from the right wing, even though he's playing as number 10. The difference between Ahmad and Anthony is that Ahmad is just a better player than
Yes,
Anthony.
correct.
So
That's
so
why.
whereas
That's why I was trying to bring the attention to, because the system is a rigid system. So when you have a system, you remember what Jarvis was saying, that he's worried about. He'll get to a point that we will become very predictable, because the system being rigid, we need players that are a little bit more like creative in our main position, in our wing back, in our 10. We need players that are very creative, so it can make the system a little less predictable, and
so
that's the issue we
let me
have
tell you what
today.
I understand. Let me tell you what
Listen,
I understand from Amorim. This system. He wants two
Mm,
different types of number 10.
mhm,
Basically, the number 10 on the left side is going to be running pretty much, attacking from the left side. And then number
Mhm.
10 on the right side is going to be playing kind of like a hybrid winger as well. The people that are tasked with creativity in this team are largely Martinez from the left wing back, Delete or whoever is playing from the right wing back, Dalo high up on the left, and Bruno when he's playing deep, right? So more often than
Mhm.
not, you will see Martinez trying the pass, the kind of pass that he gave to Ahmad. He's going to do
Mhm.
that a lot, and he gave several of those passes today. I think the system, like the players
But
that we
guess
have.
what? But guess what? Those passes were not on today because Tottenham didn't push their line up. So when we hit a team that's have two bank of four in a low block, those passes will not be on. So we need
No,
to find another way to play.
not just that. The point that you made earlier was important. That because it was Bruno receiving the pass, he's less effective than if it was Garnacho getting the ball in that position, right? So you want Bruno to be the person behind giving that pass instead of being the one to run onto the ball when Martinez plays it, over the top. Today, I think the rotation I think was called for as far as I'm concerned, right? I don't mind that
Mm.
he rotated the team today. I think he's learning more about the squad just like we are as it relates to this particular system. And I think Martinez had a bad day today, right? But I don't think he should have played. I wish he had been rested.
Mm.
Ahead of Bournemouth because I think he had a similar game to Mazraoui, where this, as far as I'm concerned, is Mazraoui's worst game
Mm.
for United, and he was a
Mhm.
6/10. He wasn't even too bad. He just looked a little tired, I think, compared to how he has been so far this season. And I think some of that, the repetition that we've seen from Amorim is starting to show. But yeah, for me, like no worries at all this game, the way
Y-
it played out.
The question I have for the panel is that I try when I watch a game, I try to look beyond the individual mistake. So the question I have is that if the Tottenham goalkeeper did not give because momentum is a real thing in football, right? Until the moment where Foster give wrapped a goal to us. Tottenham was in cruise control. They have total domination on that midfield. When you have Kulusevski and Madison dropping inside, as well as Solanke dropping in the
Yeah, but
midfield,
the
so
same thing happened to us.
we were outnumbered. So
The same thing
there
happened
was
to
no.
us.
Mm,
in the
That's how
midfield.
they scored in the first place. Now
And
that's
that's
how
why
they scored in the first place.
and their high press worked. We panicked and we were giving the ball away
yep.
in and around that area. But it
I
is
think
what
we
it
were
is.
in control. We were in control until they scored, and then momentum swung in a direction. Then we scored, and momentum swung back. So like the idea that like they were dominating us in the first half, I didn't see that either. I think it was an even first half for the first 30 minutes or so, and then they scored,
Hello.
and we kind of lost our heads, basically. And then momentum swung their way. And football is such a fascinating sport. As soon as
What
they
just
lost
happened? Hello,
confidence,
guys.
we can hear you, Luani. Um,
Are we
as soon
here?
as they just
Okay.
yes, we're here.
Hey, we're here,
Okay.
bro.
Um,
We can hear you.
as soon as they lost confidence, momentum swung our way back, and really that's just how the game is, right? So everything that you're saying that was good about Spurs
Mm.
was good because they were on the ascendancy that period. That's literally what happened, right? The same type of goals that they gifted us, we also gifted them a couple of goals, and the goal that they scored was a foul. I mean, it was a foul on Bayende, even though he was in the wrong place. His positioning was poor, but it was a foul nonetheless. And I think with VAR, that would have been fixed. So I mean, this game. That's what I'm saying. Like there's like it was like a what we call a woof, basically for Spurs, and they can enjoy it for now. But like I wouldn't draw much in terms of like tactical conclusions from what we saw today because it
Mm.
was a freak game. I wish we had won though, but yeah.
Listen, I'm not too worried about the
Mm.
shitty Carabao Cup, man. I'm not worried about that, me personally. All roads lead to Sunday. Bournemouth at home. Last year
Mhm.
they smashed us 3-0. I want to get some revenge for that. I walked out of that game last season. I'm not asked about this. I thought the second half performance was really good. We made some defensive errors, some defensive mistakes. And of course, you're going to suffer when your defenders give the ball away in dangerous areas or get caught on the ball. Then you're going
Mhm.
to give the ball, you're going to get punished. I do think that that goal on Bandia was a foul, though. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Mm.
That's a foul. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a
on a
foul.
bad day. And then like Luani said, Ugarte had flipping slow coach Ericsson next to him, and that's really difficult.
Yeah, that's not a good combination for us, honestly. Because when the thing is that it's not like I like looking at opponents or see what they got better than us, but I always like to compare position for position, right? When you see Ugarte and Ericsson versus Sa and Bisuma, is is almost day and night in terms of the profile and what they can do on the ball. You know, Ugarte is a destroyer, but when we want to move the ball the other way, he's only good for 5 yard passes. Now, when you see like when you take a ball progressor, of course, who has a bozo gene in him, like Bisuma, but he still serve his purpose of progressing the ball in the midfield. But Tottenham just have they have in their system they have so many players that drop into that midfield and offer them a creative outlet, while our creative outlet only is always reliant on a wing play. That's why even you see the way we beat City, the balls come from the creativity come from the wing, and that's why Jarvis is saying that he could make us more predictable because most of the team in the league are not gonna play us the way City players. City players in a very unique way. Most of the team in the league are not gonna come and put a high
So
line.
all the
They're
best
going to
teams
put
are
a low block and they're going to dare us to
all the best
to
teams are so
break
much
them down,
predictable
right?
now, right?
Mm?
Isn't that the whole point of the style of play argument that we're having for the past few years? All the best
Yeah.
teams are somewhat predictable, right? They're just better at doing what they do than you are at stopping them.
Hmm.
And that's the goal, right? That's where we're trying to get to. And I think like the idea with Ericsson in midfield wouldn't have been to spend time chasing Sarah and Bissouma. It would be
Hmm.
to retain possession so that what you lack in physical stamina or in defensive ability, you make up for in tossing the ball around and retaining possession. I think for the first 30 minutes, like I said, we looked
Hmm.
good executing on the plan that Amorim had in mind. We lacked quality in the form of Hoyland up front because he didn't offer us much while he played. We lacked some quality with Anthony, right? We lacked some quality with Dalot on the left side. But we looked, I think, decent and in control until our goalkeeper had several moments and our defense had several moments of madness, and we just kind of considered rapid fire goals. But that would have been unfair, I think, relative to how the game played out. And I think the scoreline with a single goal difference of 4-3 more
Hmm.
accurately reflects, what happened today, the game that we saw both halves, than the 3-0 mirage that existed for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not gonna lose sleep over to that. Well, the result today. It's Carabao Cup. It's an away tie.
Yeah.
It's at Spurs. Last time they won a trophy was 2008. Let that sink in, people. And they won the Carabao Cup. So I'm not. They were always going to try it. At the end of the day, the performance, Kobe Mainu, Ahmad, those guys who came on changed the game in the second half. I thought
Hmm.
we created a couple of chances. And yeah, I'm happy with the performance. But I won't be happy with the performance if we get smashed on bloody uh, Saturday at home. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sunday to Bournemouth. But who was your star man tonight, Bumbaye? Big up to everyone. Let me just get the super chat quickly. He says here, Zamiasi says, can't wait for Jesus to face you in the FA Cup.
As not
Okay.
wasn't so funny. So we like Jesus now. We like Gabriel Jesus now, right? Your manager is playing a midfielder as a striker instead of an actual striker, and you're here bragging. Please, please, please.
Uh, I thought the man of the match of the game was Kulusevski. I thought today. Thought it was excellent.
One hell of a player, you know. One hell
Yeah,
of a player.
Back from
just
United.
from our side, man. What I saw today was I thought Ericsson was marvelous for 35 minutes. Beautiful, but legs go. For me, the first half, I felt control. That goal came against like run of play.
Mm.
They were in their half a lot. Control is one thing that we are getting a lot of now. You look at the statistics; they look completely different to before. So these are positive signs. Today he's rotating again. It's an opportunity. Put Anthony in. Should have maybe rested Mazraoui. People are right what they're saying. Maz didn't have a great game today. Gave the ball away a lot. Didn't really offer too much, but he needs a break. I like Bruno's performance today. I thought Bruno played well. Ran in behind, put in some great balls. Hoyland didn't do his work today for me. I wasn't happy with that. I thought Ugarte, all considered, put up a good fight, man, on his own in there. He's a staple part of the team. I liked Lindelof before he went off. I thought he was doing all right. Best player that we had today, I'm going to go with Bruno. That's what I was. Yeah, I think I'll go with Bruno. He stayed on the whole game. Ericsson, I think, flailed a bit. The game, man, became just like two boxers looking for a knockout blow. Tactics went out the window a bit. Proper cup tie. So it's hard to assess that second half. But what I liked about this team, we kept going. You can't legislate. Yes, their keeper cocked up, but I mean, their first goal to me is somewhat against the run of play in the sense that they weren't offering much. We had control of the game. And it's similar to City. City, early in the game, the warning signs are there for City. We're offside, though. Hoyland's going too early. Ahmad's going too early. But you know what? Quick moves, quick balling, we're there. Bruno plays Hoyland in. Better control, maybe gets his shot off. You don't know. Are you forgetting we had a lot of opportunities that first half? Good moments with men over, but bad end quality. Delo today didn't help. The crossing is a problem in this team. Corners are shit. Deliveries have to be so much better in this team. They're awful. They have to get that better. But yeah,
They need to learn from
it's
whoever
Arsenal,
taught
man.
Saka and Declan
Arsenal.
Rice.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the crosses today from everybody are no good. They're really poor. And these things have to improve because corners, man, you have to at least give them something to worry about. They're these floaters to the back post and just shit. Come on, man, whip a ball in, make it dangerous. That's what you need. So yeah, what Luan is saying, I understand. I think they scored against the run of play. I really do.
You
I
see,
I, I, I felt we were good, and then yeah, we did get our goals from cock-ups from them, but their goals. I mean,
But so
Martinez,
did they.
that clear,
Yeah.
yeah, that Martinez thing, is on a play. Can't do anything against that. Them, I don't know anything about the foul on Bayern there. I watched it. I think he's fucked it up. I'm sorry. I think he's flailed, man.
Both things
It's
are
not
true.
enough. It's not enough for me to give him a foul. He's completely misjudged it, and it's flown in. So it was one of those days, but I like the
boom.
spirit.
But
Yeah,
Maye, when you say like we had control of the game in the first half,
yeah,
but for the control that we have, it also depends in the zone in which you have the control. If you have the control in your build up phase, which is between your the end of your half and their half, which is not the final third, there's not much you just passing the ball around. Of course, you're going to frustrate them the same way we did to City last time. We frustrate City, and it become our game that City was playing because were at their ground, and we make them work for the ball, and they're not used to work for the ball. It play in our favor, but when you play in a team, when you play in a team, especially when we are at Old Trafford and we controlling the ball in that part of the field without any possibility to punch it in the final third. That's the main issue we've been having. And we have to wait till the very last minute against City to get those opportunities.
Lonnie, I think
Yeah.
what I
I
hear you
think
saying is that our attack is poor, which
Mm-hmm.
is an
Sean,
ongoing story from the beginning of the
Sean,
season through
just
till
hold
now.
it 1 second. Sean, just hold it 1 second. I just want to bring Jarvis in. Jarvis, people, those of you who don't know Therapy Army, I need you to go and check out Tactical Devils. Big up to Jarvis. Big up to everybody.
Big up,
Please
Jarvis.
hit like on the video,
Big up,
subscribe to
big up.
the. Listen, guys,
Um,
I'm absolutely shattered. My eyes are closing. I'm falling asleep on the stream, and it's embarrassing. So I need to get an early night. Honestly, I've got another big day tomorrow. Those of you who know. But
No
people,
problem.
smash a like on the video. I'm gonna now leave you I'm gonna hear from his match reaction, and I'm gonna leave you in the capable hands of Jarvis Cocker. But Jarvis, talk to me.
yeah.
performance. I thought there's something to get behind the performance of the second half.
Yeah, it's
But
like you always.
I'm not going to lose sleep over this game.
No.
I'm more worried about Sunday. That's an
Mm.
important game, the league game. We need to climb that fucking table.
We need to do that.
We do.
Well, I agree with you. You shouldn't lose sleep over this performance.
Mm.
I think we played really well, to be honest, and I sat there thinking, wow, we are doing this so great, and how we are taking our time on the ball. We are actually dominating the opposition. We dominated Spurs on their half, and I would say we deserve to win this game. But then again,
Really?
yeah, 100%. We deserve to win.
I must have watched another game.
I agree with Travis.
Well,
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
mm,
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just seeing the game one time, but I felt we were
mm,
in control of the game. I felt we had most possession. We were dominating them, and when I say dominating, I don't mean that we were all over them all the time, but we had control of the game. I would say 80% of the time. If you go back, I know you, Noradin, you don't believe in things like XG, expected goals, but the XG
mm,
for Spurs through the full 90 minutes was 0.67, and they
mm.
scored 4 goals. Think of that, 0.67. And you know, XG, it's about the statistics, and scoring 4 goals with 0.67, that's a good thing for
So
them. They are
they
really
they
effective.
they overperform the
They
XG.
really overperformed. Our XG was 2.56, so we scored 3 goals. That's about right. 2.223 goals, and we had 20 shots. They had 9, and we had 4 big chances. But the way we produced
I
the
mean, come on.
chances, we played into their 18-yard box. I think we pressed really good. I loved how we pressed. We overloaded them and made it really difficult for them, and we were aggressive in the midfield. For me, it comes down to personal errors by India. The last goal, it's okay, maybe it should be a free kick because that Spurs sub took his hand, but you can't be that weak. If you jump up, you got to claim the area as a goalkeeper. He's a big man. He should jump up with his elbows out and shout and scream, "My ball!" We shouldn't jump up like this. It's like, ugh. Remind me of David De Gea when he used to go up and try to claim the ball. You can't be like this. Not the Man United goalkeeper. So that's on by India.
I just want to say, Jarvis, I
Yeah.
just want to say in terms of the match stats, we had 20 shots, only 5 on target, though. That's the bit about the attack. Something's missing, obviously. We've noticed it in the last couple of games, but I'm not going to lie to you. We controlled the game. We controlled Spurs in large parts. Yeah.
They're ground, bro. They're not a donkey team. That guy's
It's
drilled them hard.
it's a bit
No.
weird.
Now
The
let
question,
Jarvis finish.
Jarvis.
Let Jarvis finish, and
Mm,
then I'm going to go.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to hear what you got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to finish with I think we had a lot of personal errors. As you mentioned, Anthony wasn't good today. It's not his role
Martinez was shocking as well.
playing the 10. But I think where we lost the most was Ericsson, because Ericsson's legs is gone. He moves too slowly. When you have a dynamic player like Ugarte besides him, you can clearly see the difference between a good press player and a bad press player. Ericsson moves too slowly. Ugarte is straight up. He's pushing hard, and you see Ericsson. He moves like a turtle sometimes. It's extremely frustrating watching, and I think he cost us at least 1 or maybe 2 goals because of his press play. We let Tottenham get a big chances because of that. I can show you this
I just want to
instance.
jump in and
Yeah.
add
You can talk now. I will just find this instance where I think really Ericsson should have done better.
yeah, I wanted to just jump in and add my own personal man of the match is someone who has quickly become one of my favorite United players, Ugarte. I just like when you look at his defensive stats before he came to United, they were kind of hard to believe. his tackle success rates and all that kind of stuff. But the guy is a fucking beast, man. There's absolutely no getting past him. Like, so you're not getting past him with the ball. So either the ball comes or you basically go down. But I absolutely love watching him play. He's everywhere, really intense in the tackle, like really intense in he gets it right. He knows how to get just in the face and and up against our opponents. Yeah, he's impressed me a lot and he's a man of the match today. My personal man of the match today.
He was very good, I
Yeah.
thought.
My man of the match was Kobe Mino with his cameo. He made me salivate a little bit about what we can do with a profile of player like him with the athleticism added to it. So because we start getting a semblance of
You mean like Pogba?
control in. Oh, come on, Pogba is old story now. He's not coming back. No, there is well, the question I want to ask Jarvis is that when you take in consideration the XG and the momentum in the game, are we talking about the XG on the game overall? Because from what I was watching, I thought that we only took control of that game after the change because when the game was 3-0, there was only one team on that pitch that was winning that game. We couldn't came anywhere near them, you know. It's
Okay.
only when Bayende gifted us that goal that coincide at the same time with the change that Amorim made that we took over the game. From that point on, we completely took over them. But from the before that, nah, they were just passing out completely out of the way. We couldn't get anywhere near them.
They had their spells, Luani, but I don't think it's like that, bro. First,
Mm.
first 35 minutes, they were nothing. Total
Because
control. Ericsson in it,
you know why
and
I'm a bit worried because when we get the ball, I try
mm,
to see how we're going to use it, right? We get the ball, we go straight to our wings. And then they don't have any option because they lock our wings. So our wingers have to come back to the defenders. And we have to
bro,
try to find another way. And we don't
today,
have any other way.
today, Ericsson
Mm,
should score 2 goals. Ericsson,
mm.
two clean opportunities on goal. The corner is there.
No,
It hits the one straight down and one straight. Any usually Ericsson should score at least one of those, and
Ericsson
that's
should
before.
should have scored
are you talking about the shot that he keep taking and they were blocking?
Yeah,
the cutback.
Yeah, but they were stacking the front of their defense. I mean, I
but if
wouldn't
you,
consider that a big chance if that's part of the
bro,
XG.
that's massive chance. Look at it
Yes,
again.
now. Ericsson 3 years ago scores that. Like he places it basically
Just
like
choose
goal.
your corner. Just choose your corner, Luani. It's there.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
good
you know.
chance in their box. Pretty much a penalty
But
with just a few
the
players blocking.
defenders are there to block the shot. They're not gonna stand there like a cone, you know.
They're there,
So I
and he
don't.
just they are there, but he hits it straight at them. You know, I mean,
Okay.
okay, we agree to disagree, but to me, I'm thinking, man, this is serious opportunities here. And then we had the ball in their half a lot. Look at how much of the ball Delo is seeing today in
Mm,
their half
mm,
in their half, man. You can argue the final quality is not quite there. You
Mm.
can argue that our striker's not on the same wavelength in terms of timing and where he needs to be for those deliveries. Bruno flashes 2 gorgeous balls. You know, a proper striker is getting on the end of at least one of them. So until the
mm.
Bayende cock up, I felt we were pressing, we were there, and it was coming, and that goal was a sucker punch. That changes things.
Yeah, I have an issue with just flashing the ball across the the penalty box like that. You know, maybe I don't know what's going on with the Bruno thing, but look, if you want to flash the ball across the penalty box like that and create an element of surprise to the opponent, it looked like your teammates as much surprised as the opponent are. Is there something they practice in training? I mean, if you have to be doing that all the time, Rasmus have to anticipate at least the far post, right? He did that a couple of times today, and there was nobody at the far post. So, which
Mm.
make me think that there is not something that's done in training. He's just doing it on the fly by himself, and we know that those kind of things are supposed to be repetitive. They're supposed to be practiced in training. You know, teams do that once, they flash it across the box and somebody take a shot.
I mean, the balls are so inviting for a striker, two of them.
Mm,
And then there's the one where Bruno slides it into him. It's a bad first take from Hoyland. He should get the shot off. He
Yeah.
doesn't. So it was there today, man. It was there quite a bit, but it just it didn't materialize. And I think second
our
half,
next game will tell us.
well, I think that, bro, the next games you're gonna get. We're gonna be on here. People are gonna be losing their shit. You might go to Bournemouth. You might lose. You might play good and lose. You might play bad and get 3 points. I think this team, man, is
Mm,
moving forward at quite an impressive pace, man. After
mm,
I'm thinking what I was thinking at the Arsenal game. First half was good, and then second half things changed a little bit. Um, and then, where we were against City, forget the fact that City might not be phenomenal. I think we were brilliant.
mm.
And then today, honestly, I was like,
No,
it was
against
really
City,
good.
we were brilliant against City.
Yeah,
But it's horse for courses, you know. They played right into our hand because I've never seen us be so patient with the ball before, and they play right into our
Mm.
hand. We were patient. Even I saw a point where we got the ball and we could have moved it into their final third, but we didn't rush the issue at any time with City. I don't know if it have to do with the fact that we didn't have Garnacho and Rashford on the field, but we were able to recycle the ball, and they have to work hard for it. And one thing City hate is they hate working hard for the ball. They hate it. So they were
bro,
getting frustrated, and
you're
when they
right.
got the ball they couldn't do anything with it
A-
because there was
Again,
no time on the clock.
against City, one of the most impressive thing was United without the ball. We did not allow their midfield creators to turn. Our strikers were straight. Our defenders, sorry, were straight on them, man, closing
Mm.
them down.
Mm.
The amount of times they had to go backwards. City usually, okay. If you look at the Tottenham game, they were absolutely ripping Tottenham to pieces. Then Tottenham scored against the run of play. If you watch that game when Tottenham beat them
Mm.
against Sporting Lisbon, only God knows how they've not 2, 3 goals up. Then they just, second half capitulation against the run of play. City are still dominating teams and creating chances that they're not putting away. And obviously the losses are there though.
Yep.
So the confidence is gone. So man, if you look at like De Bruyne, Martinez is right on him, man, in the midfield. Push high. Don't let him turn. Maguire high up on Haaland. Don't let them turn. The shape was there. 17 interceptions in that game, man.
Yeah,
Mm.
but City is also suffering from the lack of personnel, because the three midfield that they have in place, that Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Gundogan, they pass first midfield. You could barely have a ball carrier in there, but um, if the passing lane were not there, we just that's one thing. I'm not saying we're not moving in a good direction with
Mm.
Amorim. We have a very good defensive structure, and it's harder for teams to break us down compared to how easy it was on the Ten Hag. And that's what impressed me the most. Teams are not breaking down on us at all anymore, and that's really testament of the defensive work they put in training. Now my only issue is that how can we fix that final third issue? Because it looked like we're still improvising when it comes to that. It looked like we're still
Mm.
relying on individual players, and that's my issue.
Mm. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, we talked a little bit about Ericsson. I think we should go through a couple of photos. I will go through everything on my channel after this show ends on tactical devils, but we can go through a couple of instances. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna get this up there.
We give a shout out to Abs United. Uh, Sending you love, man, from to Yemen. Big up yourself.
Big up apps, big up apps. Yeah. So here you see us pressing while Spurs are trying to play out from the back. Foster has the ball, and we move up. We try to close them off on one side, as we always
Mhm.
do. You see Hoylund here angles his run this way. and we have the remainder of the players here. So we try to cut the pitch in half so we can be effective in our press play. This is what we always do. So you see here the next picture, they play out to the side. Anthony applies pressure right away. You see him runs up to the fullback, Spurs fullback. I think Ericsson is not as aggressive as he should be. You see, he's jogging, he's just roaming the area, patrolling the area, but he's not intense enough for me for this press to be perfect. But that the Spurs fullback, he doesn't have many options in this instance, and they try to play it long, because you see here now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we basically almost go man to man, including their goalkeeper. So we're one man up. Spurs they hoof the ball high upwards, and this is what I like. We saw this in the Manchester City game. By the way, this is Martinez. It's a little bit blurry, but Martinez extremely aggressive. Look how high he goes, and he fully commits in the press. This is what I like to see from our center backs. This is in the first half. We win the ball. It gives the ball to Bruno, and up in this corner here you see Dalot comes for the overlap. Dalot gives the full sprint, receives the ball, and this is the big Ericsson chance. You see here Ericsson is all by himself, because all of the Spurs defense run back, because they are afraid that the ball will come.
You see, Jav, it pays to be slow.
Yeah. And this is a big chance, I would say, because the cutback comes to Ericsson, and you see him. Ericsson is quite good in these situations. He usually creates a big chance, and the shot is blocked. He feints the shot to the right of Foster. Foster drops down, but I think it's one of the centre backs who blocks the shot, Bissouma. So you see here, he blocks the shot, and that's a really big opportunity. If you see it from an other angle, if Bissouma hasn't been there, the goal would have been a goal right away. So
I think the second one's better chance.
So this is a great chance from Ericsson. Again, I will show you our press play. Spurs having the ball, trying to play out from the back. We apply pressure. But now they are on one side. But this is where you see Ugarte. When he roams, he gets really aggressive, extremely aggressive. So he goes boom right in. But you see Ericsson here is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more distance. I don't know. He should have seen this. When Ugarte goes, Ericsson should have moved here to cover up. But Ericsson can't move his legs quick enough. So you see here Ugarte really aggressive against I think it's Madison, and Madison gets the ball past Ugarte, and you see how disappointed Ugarte is because we have a player here who's not moving his legs enough. It's not good enough. And also maybe you could question if Lindelof should have been tough enough to apply pressure in this area. Again, Lindelof and Ericsson, they haven't played much in this system, and I don't think they have the mobility and the aggressiveness needed for the Amorim system. And you see here, look at Ugarte. He feels something is entirely wrong with this situation because the press play is not there. We had a big opportunity there to win the ball. We should have read the situation better.
Okay, so, Jarvis,
so
are you?
Stop and we can talk a little bit about this, and I will show you a couple of more clips of Ericsson and how it didn't work in this system.
Okay, are you talking about the frustration of Ugarte based on the fact that Lindelof was supposed to be aggressive as well and
someone should be there because we have to fill the gap. When someone leaves, someone have to. It's about total football in a way. You have to understand when someone moves out of an area, someone else has to move in. We can't just stand there, look passively, and see the big gap being empty.
But when you play, when you
we have to understand to interchange. We have to understand to push up. And this is
Okay.
what's been so good under Amarin so far, especially against Manchester City. We were extremely good at this, but at this game we were a little bit bob.
Okay, I'm trying to understand because yes, it's okay to be aggressive, right? But when you have a team that's dropping five in the midfield, how aggressive can you be to cover the space? Because Madison, Kulusevski, um, uh, Sa Bisuma, and their striker Solanke were all dropping into the midfield. So how there will be that space, there will be always an overload with one man, is because of the contrast between their style and what it demand, and our style and what our style demand. Our style is as we playing with two wing back, so
Mm.
we are already like two men short in the midfield right there, right? Because our wing back have to hug the touchline. So when they are in possession, if our wing back are not tucking in, there's nothing we can do. They're always going to have one extra or two extra men in the midfield, right? So if our defenders or our DM commit, the space will be there for their strikers to run
Well,
into.
but
So
Luane, as long as we have the Spurs player who has the ball, if he's under pressure,
mhm,
can't find it.
there's nothing who said that we can't fill the gaps and be aggressive, because as long as we press the Spurs player, the rest of the team should read it and understand we are pressing now. So everything
oh,
as a unit should move. But the problem is sometimes when we have a high line, you saw Manchester City do this last game. They played
mhm,
with a high line, trying to be aggressive without applying pressure on the ball carrier of Manchester
mhm,
United. And my God, they
mhm,
paid for it. They paid for it because they left a big gap and they were easy for us to play over them. But as long as you apply pressure, it shouldn't be a problem.
mhm.
Just how I see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because it's also yeah, the system allow you to apply those kind of pressure, but it's also when it become a situation where it become a man for man, then the profile of players come in. Because
Mm,
when Madison dropped a time today and got a ball, and he got pressed by two of our players, I think it was Kobe Mino who elbowed him to stop him. He
mm,
got out of that press easily. He cleaned up two of our players, and Kobe Mino have to elbow him um for a foul. So I'm not too much into them pulling us too much over the field so we can start committing to a man-to-man press, because when it comes to that, the quality is going to make a difference, and players who are better quality, teams that are better quality than our team will always beat us when it comes to that. I'm more in
mm,
favor of like a structured 4-4-2, a defense,
mm. Okay.
mid block,
Okay.
no high press. Um,
Yeah, but that's not Amorim, you know. I mean, you know what Amorim used to do.
we
This
will
is Amorim.
we'll
This is
see.
Amorim. Look at this, Luane. It's
Mm.
from the first half, still 36 minutes. Spurs tried to play out from the back, and we swarmed them. Look at us.
Mhm.
We are actually going man to man. Masraoui against the defender. 2-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1. So we are
That's shades
really,
of Ten Hag right there. That's high risk, high reward.
yeah, but as long as we have them pointing facing the wrong way, and we apply pressure on the ball
No, but it's
carrier,
also how
it's
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 also how
it's
he
not the
wants to play
problem.
now.
Okay,
It's
It's not an
okay,
issue. I don't see
okay.
any
I mean,
headache with
it's
with
how
it.
Amorim wants to play, and I think for me, it should be expected that we lost some level of cohesion in the team today, right? By rotating a few key players. So Lindelof not knowing that he should cover up that space, or Ericsson not being able to make up the ground. I think some of that, we have
Exactly,
Mm.
we should
exactly.
yeah, it should be expected, given that we rotated the team. But I agree with Jarvis that we're the better team today as far as I'm concerned. I think the stats, bear that out. But like it was a freak game. Bayern there just, would be very embarrassed with themselves today.
Yes, yes.
And those
They
were
will be they will be pulling Foster's ears in the dressing room as well, because let's be honest, right? if Forza didn't give us those two games, how would the game have? Would we be having a different conversation if the
No,
game
but
ended
money.
and
I'm
a
saying like that's
3-0, 4-0?
that's not fair, right? And the reason why it's not fair because their goals are just like ours.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to be upset for giving away cheap goals, we have even more reason to be upset for giving away cheap goals. Like that. That's what I'm getting at. It's not a one-sided. Oh,
Fair enough.
they 3-0 is just not the story of the game. They had like a very impressive, very intense 10 to 15 minutes out of 90, right? Where we had a calamity of errors from our keeper to Martinez making a mistake, etc. And they scored 3 goals, right? That's unfortunate, but like that's not the story of the game. That's just
Mm-hmm.
like a 10 to 15 minute spell that they were on top, and we
Mm.
quickly regained control. The moment we scored 1 goal, we regained control, and I think rightly so. We scored another by putting pressure on them. And I think 4-3 reflects the story of the game more than the 3-0 at some point.
Mm.
The,
Mm.
you guys
Fair
don't think
enough. Fair enough.
Tottenham had some spells in the game? I did feel Tottenham had spells in the game. Towards the end of the first half, they did, and I thought second half they did. But that's because the nature of the game, I think, changed. It became a proper cup tie.
Mm.
So
To be to be honest, to be
there was
honest, Mumbai.
yeah.
To be honest, I feel like Amorim
Mm.
felt that the game was being wrestled away from us at 3-0, and he prepared the change, and he took the game back with the change that he made.
Mm. Mm.
Luani,
That's how I
oh,
felt.
Baba, he had to. 3-0 down. What the hell do you have to lose left? Bring them
Mm.
on. Let's go
Yeah,
for
in
it.
a cup game,
It's a
there's no
cup tie,
goal
you
The-
know.
difference. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is what I mean. 3-0 down, like it's a proper cup tie now. Let's go. Everybody go for it. We're gonna take high risk, high reward. Either we get this
Mm.
disaster zone or we get maybe we do something.
But
Um
don't you like when how aggressive we are in our play, and we actually it feels like we are in some way of control when we play, and I see repetitive patterns in the way we play. We are actually doing something on and off
Jarvis,
and off. Yeah.
Jarvis, I don't deny that we're aggressive. My problem, I don't think we have the players to be overly aggressive.
No,
That's
and
my
that's what
issue.
I was saying. I think Lindelof wasn't good enough in this pressure
Yes.
because we saw even the central center back must understand he can't just drop down. He
so now,
need to be aggressive. We saw that with Maguire last game when he was the central center back. It's not about the one staying behind and filling the space behind. You have to be aggressive, and that's
tell
the
you
only
now,
way. If if
tell you
if if the 7, 8, 9 other players are doing it, you have to do it, or
Mm.
it's
oh,
not consistent enough. I just want to bring this up from Sony and say people pretending Levani isn't onto something. The structure hasn't showed anything special with leaking goals and not scoring many. We were not the better team. So Sony is agreeing with you, Lavani, and you're pointing out something important. We are leaking goals, and I think this is a part where Amorim needs to address it, and I think he will learn. He will adapt to the Premier League eventually. Maybe plays with a little bit too high of a risk, but we are now at the learning stage. I saw someone else in the chat. I don't remember the name. Say that we resemble Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp's team second season where we
Mm.
up and down with the result, a lot of goals and rock and roll heavy metal football. But
do,
even your Jurgen Klopp had to adapt.
do you
Yeah, but
guys
Uh,
think
I wonder.
I, ca-
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
can't I
Lavin.
cannot I cannot disagree though, because we have the defensive structure that allow we are we that allow us to stay behind the ball, and teams don't break us down as they used to. Or the
Mm.
only issue, I don't think we have the personnel to execute the high press, and we can wait on that a little bit more. Wait for January and see what Amorim is gonna bring in, because that makeshift DM of Ericsson and Ugarte, no, it's not gonna work. Any
question?
No, but like,
combination,
no, but
where is
no, but that's not.
Casemiro anyway? Where's Casemiro?
No, but that's not
Question.
his preferred starting pivot now. Ericsson and Ugarte is not his ideal pivot. He's playing Ericsson and Ugarte because it's Carabao Cup midweek game. We've been playing a lot of games. He feels he needs to refresh the team. That's why we're seeing
Mm,
Ericsson there, right? And I think the standard of special quote unquote is unfair to expect from what we've seen so far. So like
mm,
it shouldn't be that the style of play should show us something special, or the
Mm-hmm.
system should show us something special. We clearly look better in possession. I think it's unfair also
Mm-hmm.
to say that we're not dominating. We didn't dominate the game. We did. We're able to retain possession, a lot more efficiently. We're able to recycle. We're able to play out of the back better. Sure, we're not as aggressive as we could be, but again, he took over the team, according to many United fans, the worst team ever from Ten Hag. And now all of a sudden we're spending time talking about how those players or the system isn't that great. What did we expect?
Jav, do you
Yep.
have the what? I want to make a point. Maybe there's something there, maybe not.
Mm.
The way that we are trying to play requires athleticism and high levels of energy for a
Mm.
prolonged period of time,
Mm.
especially depending on how the game goes. Some teams will be relentless and they have the quality to keep forcing us to have to work, and we have to work. Is there an increase in the running statistics of Manchester United so far under Amarin in comparison to previous regimes under Eric? And because Ole said this team's output is not very good, Ranić said the same, and we've been criticised as the lowest running team in the league. He obviously also mentioned the need to increase the levels. Now, do you think that
Mhm.
us trying to increase those levels is why we're going to see rotation, perhaps to try and avoid some injuries? Some are not going to be avoided.
Yes.
We're getting muscle injuries at the minute, quite a few. Is this all part of the overall plan? Rotation. Obviously, you find out about players, you give them a chance to change and
Yeah.
shine, but it's an essential part of increasing the levels of output that they're not used to, and trying to minimize it with rotation.
It's
Mm.
an interesting question. I haven't seen the running stats. Remember reading after Amorim's first game, Ipswich outrun us, um, and Amorim wasn't happy about it. But we
Mm.
have seen the level of energy. It's been improving under Amorim, and I think we are moving our feet. But I also like the way we are controlling the tempo of the game. I think we are taking our time with the ball
Yes.
and take a breather sometimes, especially when we play out from the back. We're not only doing it because we want to set traps for the opposition and lure them up the pitch so we can play in the space behind. I think we're also doing it so we can have a breather, but and take our time. And as soon as we lose the ball, I think we are really energetic because, as you mentioned, interceptions and defensive work running. I think we are doing really well, but I think we're doing it in a smart way. uh, I don't think we run as extremely much more than the other teams, but I think we have a lot of high intensity runs, and then that's how you measure football today. It's not about miles covered in
Yeah, but
90
Jarvis,
minutes. It's
Mm.
about
yeah, but Jarvis,
the amount of high intensity runs.
Okay.
That's
when
the way.
when Ted Hag first came and we lost the first two games, the third game he said they said that he made them around 500,000 miles or something.
Mm.
And for the first 6 months after Ted Hag, we kept hearing about running stats, how this is such an improvement, basically. I'm just saying all of that to say the whole running thing doesn't really watch for me. What I'm seeing, in terms of the system, is players who know where they're supposed to be on the pitch, know what they're supposed to do with the ball when they get in certain situations, and that is basically reflecting in our style of play. So Martinez, Delete, and Mazarari or whoever is playing in that position know what to do in possession, know how to recycle the ball between themselves and Dalo on the left or Ahmad on the right.
Mm,
And we're seeing that improve every week basically. So it's for me, it's not really about running per se, even though that's an important part. I think the coach has been successful in getting
mm,
his idea across to the players of how he wants them to play, where he wants them to be on the pitch, what he wants them to do in certain situations,
yeah.
how he wants them to defend, etc., etc. The running thing, I think, is really about motivation and really about drive, and it's more
Mm,
of a psychological, how fired up are the players basically. I don't think there's any kind of like tactical or technical approach you can take to improving the stats, basically the running stats for a team. I think that that
Mm.
has to come from within.
Mm, this is an interesting stat from the game, and we talked about interceptions, and this is the amount of interceptions we had during the game. So you see, we had 10 interceptions. Spurs had 8, and Ugarte, he's our best player. He had 3 interceptions. Ericsson had none. So I think Ugarte is the key player, and when it comes to defensive work, tackles, you see here Ugarte. I don't know if you guys can even see this. I'll try to enhance it. Ugarte has 7 tackles in this game, and Mazraoui has 5. So those 2 guys alone are doing the majority of defensive work of the team, the way they win the ball, tackles, and intercept. So I just think
But
us
Jarvis,
getting them 2 in the team makes us a much better team, and that
Jarvis,
goes down to personnel.
okay, Jarvis. Is it fair to kind of compare the interception start of Ugarte and the ground cover with Ericsson? Because when I was watching both of them, it looked like they were playing as a pump, like you say, right? And Ericsson, of most of the time, the highest DM of the two. He was staying ahead of the ball while Ugarte was staying behind the ball. So it's fair to say that Ugarte will definitely cover more ground and have more interception than Ericsson, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fair to say, but it doesn't excuse Ericsson for doing defensive work, and I don't think it comes down to his will. It comes down to ability. I don't because he moves his legs too slow. It's like watching Juan Mata 5 years ago. He was a brilliant player, and Ericsson. I think Ericsson was brilliant today. He's really good when he has the ball in his feet and how he finds openings and open the door with key passes,
Exactly.
and how he gets the ball ticking. But it's his off the ball work that worries me, and I love Christian Eriksen. I have even an Eriksen poster behind me, but it's his time is up. He can't play in the Amorim system, and that's just a fact. I
I've
mean,
been thinking a lot of things this couple of weeks. Amorim literally beat City within a couple of months with 2 different teams, right?
yeah,
Did we really think that it might be the case that the system that Amorim is using is tailor fit for a team like City that
No,
enjoy playing that enjoys playing a highlight? Because we went from losing to Forest into the City game, and let's just make sure we don't. Yes, I know City is a rival across the street, but let's just look at the context and make sure we don't gas things up a bit too
no,
much,
Amorim. Sorry,
because
Amorim. Luani,
mm,
I disagree, right? And the reason why I disagree is that the what's for reasons that Amorim has tried to point out as well. That if you
mhm,
focus on the performance, right, the story of the Everton game, the story of the Arsenal game, of the
mm,
Nottingham Forest game, of the City game, and of this game today, very similar stories in terms of the performance has been strong relatively, right? Whereas in one game we won 4-0, but the other game we lost. Another game against Forest we lost, but against City we won. And today we lost again. But as a baseline in terms of the performance, we've been fairly consistent, in my opinion, over the last few games. There have been mistakes here and there, right? Painful mistakes, unfortunate mistakes. But I think the story still remains a story, as far as I'm concerned, of consistently improving performance against any team. So there's no team that we've played so far that we've not looked in control. That's an important part of Amorim's game. Now you can say control to what end, right? It doesn't serve you to just keep possession for possession's sake.
mhm.
And I think Amorim agrees with that. Right. And there should be some cutting edge in our play. But I think to me, that is really because of the personnel that we have. Hoylund doesn't look too sharp. Xerxes isn't a goal scorer or a threat. Ahmad is really the only attacking threat that we have in this team, and that reflects in the attacking performance that you see. So I don't really have any concerns about the need to adjust the formation or the style or the system for one team versus the other. I think we're set
Okay.
up to be in control against the best of them, against pretty much any team in the league, and with improvements in quality and a consistent training regime, I think you would see, the positive basically of the system really start to show.
Mhm. I'll give you the rebuke to the argument or where I'm coming from, right? Because a week
Luani, before bro,
week.
you do that,
Mm,
I need to get off, guys.
yes.
I will see you hopefully for the Bournemouth. And yeah, yalla. Good night, everybody.
Big up,
Good
man.
Peace.
night. Good night. Good night.
So
Good night, guys.
the so
Good night.
what I was
Good night,
trying to
everybody.
say is that
Take care, bro.
we we played uh Sporting Lisbon played Arsenal right after that, and the way Arsenal neutralized them made me think that that system against a 4-4-2 low block might be a little less successful. We haven't seen it yet, but since that's the way the majority of the Premier League team plays, that's where my worry comes from, actually.
Mm,
So
mm. Guys, we are 1 minute six. We are 1 hour 16 minutes into the stream. I think we gotta end it really quick because I have a show on Tactical Devil
Oh,
starting.
good.
no
So,
problem, no
guys,
problem.
if you haven't subscribed and would like to watch the show, I'll put the link in. I'll put the link on the Noradin's name in the chat. So that's my channel. This is my channel. This is the link to my show. So, guys, I'm starting up as soon as we finish here, and we'll do a thorough tactical breakdown. I will do about 30 minutes. So, if you want to join in, join in. Be free. I'm not
So
forcing you or
Big up,
breaking
Travis.
your arm, but I would really appreciate it. I just I see Danny B will be there. Thank you, Danny B. Will be a pleasure having you on the stream, guys. Where do we go from here? We have Bournemouth coming up on Sunday. Do you think the players will come back and win that game, or do you think this will be just what we can expect going forward?
The
Open
latter.
play, a lot of goals, but win, lose, draw.
The
Not
latter.
the consistent results.
Exactly as you said, the Jarvis, not consistent results, but I think a consistent baseline in terms of the performance. Um, I would love for us to win against Bournemouth. I think that's a more important game. I think absent any calamities like goalkeeping errors or individual mistakes, I expect us to win.
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
I agree.
Ronnie,
I agree with you. I will. I hope the next game against Bournemouth we see a good performance as well, because it's the Premier League and every team we play plays different. They come
mm,
with their own philosophy. They come with their own style of play, their own coaching, and we have to take the game in isolations. There are things that are very, very good. There are things to be positive about, evidence of real progress being made. For me, what I see is the structure. But my long-term worry is that will Amorim be afforded the power to give to overhaul the team in order to maximize his system before
mm,
everything else catch up to him? Because the Premier League tend to adapt, and they will adapt quickly to his
yeah,
system. I
yeah.
want to see his best. You know.
Mm. I worry when we play against Bournemouth always because of their manager Andoni Iraola. I think he's a brilliant tactical manager. He knows how to set the traps and play a solid mid block kind of football. We saw it against Nottingham Forest when we played against a solid mid block football. We struggle because there's no room to play in the central areas, and we struggle against Nottingham Forest. So I expect a similar game, and yeah, we will be interesting to watch. But that's
Yeah.
on Sunday. We ended the show. We lost 4-3 against Spurs. I'm not overly disappointed by dropping out of the League Cup. By the way, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to win it, but now at least we have two less games for the season. I think that suits us well. More time for Amarim to practice and drill his troops.
Yeah.
So it's been a good show. Guys, jump over to Tactical Devils. Type it in Google or
It will
YouTube.
be in the comments.
You,
You
you
say
will
the
find
the link is in the description.
the link is here. That's the link to my YouTube
Okay.
channel. So guys,
Okay.
and I will also try to share the link if anyone want to come on and talk, and be live on the TV. I will share the link to the show so you can come on. Okay, guys,
Big
thank
up,
you.
guys.
Remember
Thank
to
you.
smash the like, subscribe, and be on for the next show on the United Real Therapy. It's been a blast. Thank you, everybody, and have a good one. Good night.